Ryan Miller with Lucky Dog Painters. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a great way to do your finish coat on a bedroom. We've already done the first coat and you can see the original coating flashing through. I'm going to show you how to cut some nice clean lines and also how to box paint. So for the last coat, I want to take any of my new gallons of paint and box them all together so that the paint is the same color. Because not all paint cans are mixed the same, and you want to make sure that that final coat is one consistent color. Because if I pull out of one can and it's a different color than the other, it's going to make the wall flash out. Okay, so the other thing is I use a nice little paint grid and my roller, and the first thing is I want to do is trim it out with a brush. I also like painting off my lids, because I want to, the cleaner that I am, the easier it is to have a clean job site and do clean work. So now that I have it boxed, I'm going to pour some of it back into a can to use for my brushing. I don't need a whole lot, just enough to keep the brush wet, and then wipe my bucket because I don't want to create a lot of drips and then potentially trap those drips in the rest of the house. Sometimes they say start high and low. So I always wipe off one end of the brush and I don't dip more than halfway on the bristles. Then I'm gonna run my bead here, and then once I get a nice straight line, run it straight across. Okay, professional painters, we get paid to be good and fast. So the key is to always dip the brush, get paint, to paint the wall. Now it's a 3-inch brush. I want to give myself a nice 3 to 4 inches to cut the roller into. Now here on the floor you'll see blue tape. I taped over the baseboard and then I used white paint over the tape to seal it. So I don't have to use special frog tape. I use the own color. I've already painted a coat on the baseboard, and then I use the white paint to seal the tape. Then I can paint right to it. And again, I'm outlining the wall. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to trim out the window. Again, I'm applying the paint on the edge there. Then I'll come to the edge, find my line, and bring it all the way down. There's a bead of paint. Go ahead and collect it. Alright, so I've already trimmed out the wall here. Now I'm going to roll it. I use a nice little roller pole, and I use a 5-gallon bucket. I don't use those paint trays because you have a tendency to step inside a paint tray and then track it all over the house, and that's not good. So I go down the roller grid like that and get it wet all the way around. For this section, I'll do nice straight up and down, and I can go all the way up the wall. I want to make sure that I don't have any drips or sags. And then I go back and collect the paint. Okay, now it's already dry, so I'm going to get more paint on the roller. A lot of new painters, they try to squeeze all the paint out of a nap instead of just going, dipping their brush or dipping the roller into the roller nap. Then you just go back over the end nice and light to pick up any of the railroad tracks. These are original railroad tracks that dried into the wall. Now I'll go ahead and do above the window. Get it nice and wet. I use a locking roller frame so that I can go backwards or forwards with my roller without my mat coming off the roller. Now I just go back over the paint into what I trimmed, the 3 inches below the ceiling and the 3 inches above the window. Okay, if I see any drips or sags, get them with the roller. Now I'll do underneath the window. Once I get my flow, I can move faster. So the idea is that I start slower, get the hang of it. Once I get the knack, then I can get faster. I talk about painting in speeds, in gears. First, second, third, fourth. So before lunch, we're usually like in fourth gear, fourth or fifth gear. After lunch, you're back to first or second gear. And you can stay slow in second gear all day long. Some guys only paint at one speed. If they're perfect, it's fine. If they're not perfect and they make mistakes, then it makes it hard for paint contractors to make any money, or painters to make the money that they want to make that's competitive to their peers or colleagues. Now I do have this last little bit. I could squeeze out the roller, but I'm not going to. I have enough paint. So the trick is to get enough paint and product on the wall. All right, now I'd like to show you how to paint a wall using the M and W method. So there's my M, here's my W. Okay, and then one more dip. Start here, and work back into the M and W. Gaining the paint, allowing me to roll out this whole section of the wall. Then I can go back over it lightly to get any of the thick stuff. Okay, now the whole other half of the wall in an M, a W, move the paint closer to me, move things out of my way, give myself ample space to work. W, sometimes I just do a new or an N. And notice, cover my floor. I put the pinky on the back, and I use the center arm or hand as a focal point to rock the roller back and forth. And this is called working a wet edge. So you work the paint into itself when it's wet, and you can roll it. it shouldn't create any flashing. Notice how everything's up and down, nice straight, so I don't create textures in the wall. Thank you.